Listen closely, because what I'm about to say may shift everything you thought you understood about your connection. This Sunday is not just another day, it's a turning point. A window. A signal. A moment the universe has been aligning in the background of your life, waiting for you to be ready. And if your twin flame age difference feels too big, too strange, too impossible, then you need to prepare yourself. Because what you're experiencing isn't ordinary love. It's a spiritual anomaly, a cosmic design that most people will never touch in their lifetime. For weeks, months, maybe even years, you've felt it. That pull. That magnetic recognition. That impossible familiarity that defies logic, time, reason, and every rule you were taught about what love should look like. But hidden beneath that intensity is a truth most twin flames overlook, a truth that becomes unavoidable when the age gap is significant. A truth that emerges only when destiny is ready to activate your next chapter. This Sunday, the energy shifts. And you, yes you, are standing right at the threshold of a revelation meant only for the ones who carry this rare soul contract. So take a breath. Stay with me. And open your mind. Because what you're about to discover may finally explain why your age difference is not a mistake, but the key the universe deliberately engineered for your union. Let's begin. The human experience is far more intricate than the mind can easily comprehend. Consciousness is not a single plane of awareness but a vast, multi-layered architecture through which the soul observes and interprets reality. Most people spend their entire lifetime anchored in the lowest layer, the realm of physical sight, linear logic, social conditioning, and emotional reactivity. In this layer, age is seen as a simple number, a measurement of time passed, a marker of societal expectation. But this is only the first and most shallow level of perception. As the soul begins to awaken, new layers of consciousness activate. These higher layers operate beyond the limits of the physical senses. They reveal the deeper patterns woven into the fabric of life, the hidden reasons behind timing, connection, soul recognition, and divine orchestration. It is here, in the higher layers, that the truth behind the age gap becomes visible. What once appeared unusual or illogical suddenly makes sense from the higher vantage point of soul timing rather than human timing. When consciousness expands, age is no longer perceived as a barrier or imbalance. Instead, it becomes understood as an intentional design element crafted by the soul before incarnation. The age difference becomes a spiritual mechanism, a synchronized alignment between two timelines crafted with absolute precision. The awakened mind recognizes that these numerical differences often represent different stages of spiritual preparation, complementary energies, and a perfect equation of growth. Only those who rise beyond the first layer, the layer of appearances, can perceive this truth. As awareness ascends through the higher realms of consciousness, the architecture of the twin flame connection reveals itself. Age becomes not a number, but a message. Not a limitation, but a key. And once understood, it no longer divides, it unifies. Before a soul enters the physical world, it is not wandering blindly into chance or chaos. There is a blueprint, a sacred, intentional design crafted in the higher realms. In this space beyond time, the soul chooses everything with divine intelligence, the family it will be born into, the body it will inhabit, the challenges it must face, and even the exact moment it will enter the earth plane. Every detail is chosen not for comfort, but for evolution. This blueprint is not a punishment or reward. It is a curriculum for the soul's expansion. And because twin flames share a unified higher consciousness, their blueprints are woven together long before they take their first human breath. Their timelines are structured with precision, ensuring that each soul arrives at the perfect moment for the mission they agreed to fulfill together. This is where the age gap becomes more than a coincidence. It becomes a signature of the pre-incarnation agreement. Souls often choose to incarnate at different times because they require different life experiences, different stages of healing, and different forms of preparation. One may need to master grounding and stability through an earlier timeline, while the other may bring in new light codes, fresh energy, and accelerated activation through a later one. What appears as an age difference in the physical world is actually a spiritual alignment in the higher realms. It is proof of divine timing, not disparity. When viewed from the soul's perspective, the gap becomes a bridge, linking two paths that were never meant to run parallel, but to meet at the exact moment both hearts are ready. The age gap is not an accident. It is the echo of a promise, a sign that two souls chose one another long before this lifetime began. In the physical world, age is measured in years, birthdays, and numbers that rise with time. But in the spiritual world, age has nothing to do with years lived, it has everything to do with frequency. The soul vibrates at specific levels of awareness, readiness, wisdom, and energetic maturity. And often, the soul expresses these invisible frequencies through visible symbols in the physical dimension. One of the clearest symbols is the age difference between two twin flames. What appears as a gap in years is rarely accidental. It represents the gap between two energetic charges, one soul carrying the deeper grounding frequency of experience, and the other carrying the lighter, catalytic frequency of expansion. These frequencies are not opposites, they are complements. Together, they form the perfect energetic polarity needed to activate the twin flame mission. The soul uses physical age as a metaphor, a mirror, a living reminder of vibrational design. The older counterpart often holds an anchored, steady energy, the stabilizing force shaped through earlier incarnational timing. The younger counterpart often carries a faster, highly charged frequency, the spark that accelerates awakening, healing, and transformation. Their timelines are different, but their frequencies are coded to fit together like two halves of a single current. When both frequencies meet in the physical world, something extraordinary happens. The visible gap in years becomes irrelevant, because the true alignment happens at the level of vibration. Souls recognize each other beyond time, beyond logic, beyond human expectation. They merge not because they are the same age, but because they are the same frequency at the moment destiny activates. The age gap is not a separation, it is a synchronization. A reminder that the universe aligns people not by years, but by vibration. And when two souls vibrate as one, time itself bows to the connection. One of the most mysterious signs of a true twin flame connection is the way time itself begins to behave differently. In ordinary relationships, time feels linear, people age, grow, and change according to predictable rhythms. But twin flames do not operate within the boundaries of linear time. Their bond exists in a higher dimensional field, and the moment this field activates, the sense of time begins to bend, soften, and distort. This is why age becomes irrelevant. It is not that years disappear, it is that the soul field overrides the mind's rigid attachment to them. When twin flames meet, something ancient awakens. A familiarity, a recognition, a feeling of, "I've known you forever," collapses decades into a single moment. Time stretches or compresses depending on what the souls need to remember. Minutes with each other can feel like lifetimes, and years apart can disappear in an instant once reunion occurs. This temporal distortion is not imagination, it is a built-in design. Higher dimensional connections cannot be held by the laws of 3D time. Twin flames share a timeless bond, and when they reconnect on Earth, that timelessness leaks into their human experience. You may forget the age difference entirely. You may look at your counterpart and see them as ageless. You may feel younger, older, or suspended in a space that doesn't match your physical years. This happens because your soul remembers a version of them that exists outside of human aging, the eternal self beyond past lives, beyond birth, beyond time. The distortion is simply your higher consciousness trying to show you the truth, that your connection exists in a realm where clocks do not govern love. In this sacred field, age dissolves, time bends, and only the eternal nature of the bond remains. Time does not separate twin flames, it reveals them. When you meet your true spiritual counterpart, something profound happens within your awareness, something so subtle yet so powerful that the mind struggles to understand it. Linear time, the framework through which humans interpret reality, begins to collapse. Past, present, and future, which once felt divided and sequential, merge into a single, unified moment of recognition. This is why the encounter feels surreal, overwhelming, or instantly familiar. It is the soul remembering what the mind has not yet caught up to. In the presence of your counterpart, you are no longer experiencing time from the limited human self. You are experiencing it from the vantage point of your eternal self. From that perspective, all moments of your shared existence, past lifetimes, future missions, current incarnation, coexist simultaneously. The soul does not see before or after. It sees always. That eternal recognition creates the sensation that you have known this person far longer than the physical timeline suggests. This collapse of time is what makes the age difference suddenly feel meaningless, or even shocking. The mind, which lives inside linear time, expects people close in age to connect deeply. But the soul defies that logic. It recognizes the counterpart without hesitation, without confusion, without consideration for human numbers. The years separating you in the physical world cannot override the vibrational memory encoded within your shared soul field. This is why you may forget the age gap, or find it irrelevant, or feel as if you are both the same age. Your consciousness rises into a higher dimension where time does not divide, it unifies. In that moment, the connection becomes a living bridge between timelines, revealing the truth that your bond is older than this life and destined to continue far beyond it. Linear time collapses because the soul remembers eternity. There comes a moment on the twin flame journey when everything the mind once relied on begins to crumble. The rules of the physical world, logic, age expectations, social norms, linear time, suddenly fail to explain the depth, intensity, and familiarity of the connection. This is because the twin flame bond is not a 3D relationship. It is a 5D energetic union temporarily expressing itself through human bodies. And the third dimension simply does not have the bandwidth to interpret a fifth-dimensional truth. The twin flame connection dissolves the structures of 3D reality the moment it activates. You may feel overwhelmed, confused, or unable to articulate what is happening. This is not a failure of understanding, it is a sign that the connection is operating beyond the limits of material perception. In 3D, relationships are evaluated through compatibility, age, logic, and circumstance. In 5D, they are recognized through resonance, memory, frequency, and destiny. This mismatch between dimensions creates cracks in the illusion of the physical world. Age becomes one of the most visible fault lines. The gap confronts everything society believes about how love should look, how timing should unfold, and what is considered appropriate. The mind resists because the connection does not fit its programming. But the soul knows exactly what is happening. The dimensional layers are dissolving, revealing what has always been true beneath the surface. When 3D reality fails to explain the bond, it is because the connection did not originate there. It comes from a plane where age, distance, and circumstances are irrelevant. A plane where souls recognize each other instantly and bond beyond form. As the illusion cracks, what emerges is the realness of the soul, the eternal, unbreakable connection that transcends all human rules. 3D cannot hold what was created in 5D. And the age gap becomes the portal through which your deeper truth begins to shine. The ego is the mind's attempt to create safety in a world it does not fully understand. It clings to rules, patterns, and expectations because they give it the illusion of control. One of the strongest of these rules is the belief in appropriate ages, the idea that love must fit into socially acceptable timelines to be valid. But divine timing does not answer to the ego. It answers only to the soul. And when a twin flame connection appears with an unexpected age gap, the ego feels threatened. Its carefully built structure of logic begins to shake. The ego fears what it cannot predict. It fears what it cannot categorize. A twin flame age gap disrupts its sense of order so intensely that it triggers resistance, doubt, embarrassment, overthinking, attempts to rationalize the connection away. This resistance is not a sign that something is wrong, it is evidence that something sacred is unfolding. The soul is pushing forward while the ego tries to pull back. The age difference becomes a mirror reflecting every limitation the ego still holds. Fear of judgment. Fear of inadequacy. Fear of being too old or too young. Fear of losing control over how life is supposed to look. These fears rise not to punish you, but to be purified. The connection forces the ego to confront itself and evolve or break. This confrontation is part of the spiritual restructuring the twin flame journey requires. Divine timing demands surrender, a willingness to trust that the soul knows better than the mind. As the ego loosens its grip, something extraordinary happens. Clarity replaces fear, intuition replaces doubt, and love replaces limitation. The age gap transforms from a source of insecurity into a symbol of perfect orchestration. When ego resistance dissolves, divine timing flows freely, and the true purpose of the connection becomes undeniable. The twin flame journey is not a romantic path, it is a spiritual curriculum designed with surgical precision for the evolution of the soul. Long before two counterparts meet in the physical world, they agree to undergo a series of initiations, lessons, and inner transformations that prepare them for true union. These lessons are not random, they are structured, layered, and deeply intentional. Surrender, trust, ego dissolution, the collapse of judgment, radical acceptance. These are the core teachings, and each one reshapes the seeker from the inside out. Within this curriculum, the age gap stands out as one of the most powerful modules. It confronts the mind immediately, placing the seeker face to face with conditioned beliefs about how love should look and when it should unfold. Society's rules about age act as a testing ground for the soul's readiness to transcend fear and illusion. Nothing exposes judgment more quickly than an age difference, and nothing dismantles it more effectively. The age gap pushes both twins into profound spiritual growth. It forces surrender of expectations, release of social conditioning, and a deep restructuring of inner values. It asks the heart, do you love the soul or the story you were taught to follow? It asks the ego, will you let go, or will you cling to outdated rules? And it asks the higher self, are you ready to see love through the eyes of eternity? This journey is designed to strengthen what is eternal, while dissolving what is false. The age gap becomes a portal to mastery, a challenge that transforms into wisdom. When embraced consciously, it teaches unconditional acceptance, alignment with divine timing, and the ability to love beyond form. In this way, the age difference is not an obstacle but a sacred lesson, preparing both souls for the deeper truth of their union. The curriculum is hidden, but the transformation is undeniable. One of the most profound and often misunderstood features of the twin flame journey is the presence of shock. Not the kind that harms, but the kind that awakens. Twin flames rarely meet in circumstances that feel predictable or comfortable. Instead, their connection is wrapped in elements that jolt the soul awake: vast age differences, cultural contrasts, unusual timing, long distances, or dramatically different life paths. These shocks are not coincidences. They are intentional catalysts built into the divine design of the connection. The human mind becomes complacent when life fits neatly into expectation. But the soul evolves when it is shaken out of its familiar patterns. The sacred shock mechanism exists precisely to break the ego's sleep and reveal the deeper spiritual truth of the bond. A twin flame encounter is meant to feel impossible, improbable, or disruptive at first, because it is engineered to bypass logic and activate recognition at the soul level. These differences, age, background, distance, culture, work like spiritual defibrillators. They send a pulse of awareness through the energy field, causing the dormant parts of the soul to reawaken. The shock cracks open the layers of conditioning that keep people asleep. It forces the seeker to question everything: societal narratives, personal beliefs, expectations of love, and their understanding of destiny. In that questioning, the mind loosens its grip, and the heart begins to remember. The shock is not a barrier, it is a trigger. It is the universe shaking you gently yet firmly, saying, "Wake up. Look deeper. Something sacred is here." Once the soul recognizes its counterpart, the shock no longer feels like chaos, it feels like alignment. It becomes clear that the differences were never meant to divide, but to illuminate the depth and destiny of the connection. The sacred shock awakens what has been forgotten. And once awakened, the soul can no longer return to sleep. Human beings are taught to see life as a straight line: childhood, youth, adulthood, aging. A timeline with a beginning and an end. But the soul does not grow in lines. It evolves in spirals. Spirals of understanding, spirals of experience, spirals of returning again and again to deeper truth. And when two twin flames incarnate, they do not arrive on the same loop of the spiral. One often incarnates on an outer loop, expanded, seasoned, carrying lived wisdom. The other enters on an inner loop, fresh, energetically potent, carrying light codes of acceleration. Yet both loops move toward the same center point, union, awakening, and soul remembrance. This is why age differences exist. The age gap is not a mismatch, it is a reflection of two different positions on the same spiraling path of evolution. One soul has journeyed through earlier cycles of grounding, stability, and karmic clearing. The other arrives with a faster frequency, unburdened by certain experiences, ready to ignite transformation. Their difference in years symbolizes their difference in spiritual cycles, not superiority or inferiority, but complementary phases of growth. As the spiral turns, these 2 points begin moving closer and closer, eventually converging into the exact same center of energetic alignment. In that moment, physical age becomes irrelevant. The outer and inner loop merge into one shared movement, a unified frequency that feels timeless, ageless, and eternal. This is why twin flames often feel the same age emotionally, spiritually, and energetically, regardless of the physical number. The spiral teaches one essential truth: evolution is not linear, and neither is love. The age difference simply reflects where each soul began on the spiral, not where they meet. And when the loops finally converge at the center, the souls recognize each other instantly, because they were always spiraling toward one another. Age separates lines, but spirals always return to the same sacred point. One of the most profound and surprising aspects of the twin flame connection is the way it inverts the traditional understanding of masculine and feminine energies. In ordinary relationships, society expects age to define maturity, leadership, softness, wisdom, and direction. But twin flames do not follow the predictable rules of human polarity. Their connection mirrors energetic truth, not physical appearance. And often, this means age plays a role that is intentionally opposite of what the mind expects. In many twin flame unions, the younger counterpart carries an ancient, deeply rooted energy, a soul wisdom earned over countless incarnations. They may arrive with heightened intuition, natural spiritual memory, or an uncanny ability to awaken dormant energies in their older counterpart. This younger twin often brings the essence of the divine feminine, or the divine masculine in its most awakened form, regardless of their physical age. Conversely, the older counterpart may carry a youthful frequency, an energy of renewal, softness, curiosity, or childlike openness that balances the ancient power of their younger twin. Their age does not define their role. Instead, their vibration reveals their true position within the spiritual polarity. The older twin may embody the vibrant spark that keeps the connection alive, playful, and dynamic, or they may carry the receptive energy needed to stabilize the intensity of the bond. This magnetic inversion is not a mistake, it is divine strategy. It ensures that each twin triggers precisely the energy the other needs for activation and evolution. The soul knows how to balance polarity far better than human expectation ever could. Age does not determine who leads or who awakens. Energy does. And in the twin flame journey, polarity often reveals its truest form through inversion, a mirror that exposes the soul's real essence beyond time, gender, and physical age. Before twin flames can unite in the physical world, their energies must serve two distinct purposes: one must stabilize, and the other must activate. This is not imbalance, it is divine architecture. It is the law of energetic asymmetry, the cosmic principle that ensures both souls evolve at exactly the pace required for their shared mission. This asymmetry is not a flaw in the connection, it is the foundation that makes the union possible. In the early stages of the journey, one twin naturally carries the grounding frequency. This soul becomes the anchor, steady, rooted, and capable of holding the intensity of the shared field. The other twin carries the activating frequency, the spark, the catalyst, the light that accelerates transformation. Together, they create a dynamic interplay of grounding and ignition, forming the energetic structure required for ascension and unity. The age gap is one of the clearest physical manifestations of this cosmic law. The older counterpart often mirrors the stabilizing energy, shaped through life experience, inner discipline, or karmic resolution. The younger counterpart often embodies the activating energy, bringing in fresh codes, higher vibrational momentum, or rapid spiritual acceleration. Their ages reflect their roles long before their minds understand them. Asymmetry does not mean inequality, it means complement. It means that the soul energies are positioned deliberately so that one can hold space while the other awakens hidden layers of memory, purpose, and identity. This interplay is essential for the ignition of the twin flame field. Only when the stabilizing twin has grounded their path and the activating twin has awakened their potential does union become possible. The age gap is not an obstacle, it is a mirror. A reminder that the universe balances energy, not numbers. And once both roles harmonize, asymmetry transforms into perfect unity. One of the greatest misunderstandings about twin flame unions is the belief that both souls should arrive at the same life stage at the same time. But the universe does not align twin flames according to convenience, it aligns them according to necessity. Each counterpart arrives on Earth with a karmic timeline that must unfold precisely before the meeting can occur. These karmic timelines rarely match, and that is not a mistake. It is divine strategy. Before two twin flames can reunite, both must complete specific karmic cycles, lessons of self-worth, healing, liberation, identity, forgiveness, and emotional maturity. These lessons cannot be rushed. They unfold across time in a sequence crafted by the soul. If the twins were the same age, or if their timelines mirrored each other too closely, they would meet prematurely, before either was ready, before evolution had ripened, before the soul had learned what it came here to master. This is why age differences exist. The gap creates a natural delay, a temporal buffer that protects the connection from igniting too early. One soul may need additional years to clear past karmic debts, heal ancestral wounds, build stability, or learn through experience. The other may need fewer years but greater energetic preparation. Their paths look different, but they are converging with absolute precision. When the universe orchestrates twin flame meetings, it waits for the exact moment when both karmic timelines have reached completion points. The age difference becomes a physical marker of the journey each soul had to walk before awakening. Far from being an obstacle, it is the safeguard that ensures the meeting happens only once both are spiritually ready. The karmic timeline shapes the soul. The twin flame timeline unites the souls. And the age gap is the bridge that keeps divine timing perfect. Human society is built on rules, spoken and unspoken, visible and hidden. These rules shape how people believe love should look, when it should arrive, who is appropriate, and what timelines are acceptable. But the soul does not incarnate to follow society's scripts. It incarnates to evolve, expand, and liberate itself from illusions. This is why the twin flame journey shatters almost every social rule: age, distance, timing, background, logic, labels. The connection is designed to break you free from the very conditioning that keeps humanity asleep. Among all these confrontations, the age gap stands as one of the most deliberate and transformative. Society has strong beliefs about what age differences mean, yet none of these beliefs come from the soul. They come from fear, conformity, and the mind's desire to fit safely within the collective. When a twin flame connection appears with a significant age difference, it challenges that programming instantly. It forces the seeker to question everything they were taught about love, identity, worthiness, and the illusion of the right time. The soul uses the age gap like a spiritual crowbar, prying open the rigid structures that the ego has clung to for years. It confronts inherited beliefs, generational conditioning, cultural expectations, and internalized judgments. It demands honesty. Do you follow society's rules out of fear, or do you follow your soul out of truth? This confrontation is uncomfortable because it dismantles the stories that once felt safe. Yet it is also liberating, because it reveals a love that exists beyond human structures. Twin flames are not here to fit in, they are here to awaken. Their connection is meant to challenge old paradigms and restore love to its original form, unconditional, timeless, and free. The age gap is not a flaw. It is a divine intervention. A sacred disruption meant to break the soul open so the truth can finally shine through. Twin flames are not connected through ordinary emotional or romantic pathways. Their bond is rooted in something far more ancient and scientifically mystical: quantum entanglement. This is the phenomenon in which two particles, once connected, continue to mirror and influence each other instantly, no matter how far apart they are in space or time. Twin flames, at the soul level, exist in the same entangled state. Their energies are woven together beyond the boundaries of physical distance, past experiences, or the numerical markers of age. This is why age has no effect on the speed or depth of the connection. When twin flames meet, the activation is immediate. Recognition is instant. The bond bypasses logical filters because it does not originate in the physical dimension. It comes from a realm where time does not separate, and distance does not weaken. The connection is instantaneous because the souls were never truly apart, only the bodies were. Quantum bonds operate outside the rules of linear time. They do not develop slowly like ordinary relationships. They ignite. They awaken. They reveal. And they do so with a force that can feel both overwhelming and profoundly natural. One conversation can feel like a lifetime. One meeting can feel like a homecoming. One glance can unlock memories that the mind does not understand, yet the soul knows intimately. This entanglement also explains why twin flames access each other's emotions, thoughts, energy shifts, and inner truth without words. It is not imagination, it is resonance. Two frequencies vibrating as one. Two destinies aligned before birth. Two timelines converging into a single field. Age exists in the physical world. Quantum entanglement exists in the eternal world. And when the twins meet, the eternal overrides the physical. The bond does not care about time, it transcends it. It does not grow, it remembers. Twin flame union is not something that happens by chance, nor does it activate simply because two souls recognize each other. It requires a precise energetic alignment, a meeting of two sacred frequencies designed long before incarnation. This alignment is known as the double key mechanism, the cosmic requirement that each twin flame holds a different energetic key, and only when both keys turn simultaneously does the union fully ignite. One key is wisdom. This is typically carried by the older counterpart, who has walked through more earthly experiences, karmic lessons, emotional refinement, and self-realization. Their role is to provide grounding, stability, insight, and spiritual maturity. Their wisdom becomes the stabilizing force that holds the structure of the connection, ensuring that the bond can anchor itself in the physical realm. The other key is innovation and light. This is often held by the younger counterpart, who comes into the connection with fresher codes, accelerated frequencies, and a powerful catalytic energy. They bring creativity, awakening, transformation, and the spark needed to activate dormant layers within the older twin. Their presence shakes the foundation in the best possible way, opening portals of growth and evolution that the connection requires. Neither key is superior. Neither role is greater. Both are essential. Union cannot activate if only one key turns. Wisdom alone cannot ignite the sacred flame. Light alone cannot sustain the structure. The universe requires balance, a merging of the grounded past and the ascending future, so the shared mission can unfold in its complete, divine expression. When both keys turn at the same moment, something extraordinary happens. The field activates. The soul remembers. The bond stabilizes. And the connection steps into its highest purpose, fulfilling the destiny written for both souls before they ever arrived on Earth. Twin flame reunions do not happen randomly, nor do they unfold according to human expectations of timing, age, or convenience. They occur through precise cosmic windows, openings in the energetic field where both souls reach the exact frequency required for recognition, activation, and alignment. These windows are determined not by physical circumstances, but by universal timing cycles that operate far beyond the understanding of the human mind. Before incarnation, both souls agree to meet during a specific energetic moment, a portal in time where karmic threads have been cleared, lessons have matured, and the connection can ignite without destabilizing either path. This timing is sacred, deliberate, and perfectly orchestrated. It is not governed by birthdays or life stages, but by the soul's internal evolution and the configuration of celestial and energetic patterns surrounding the earth. This is why age differences occur. Age is not the cause of the timing, it is simply an artifact, a visible trace of the deeper spiritual mechanics at play. One soul may need more years to complete karmic cycles, while the other may accelerate rapidly through their evolutionary path. Their physical ages may appear mismatched, but their frequencies are aligned with astonishing precision at the moment their cosmic window opens. When twin flames finally cross paths, it is because the window has arrived. The universe has synchronized their energies, cleared the necessary obstacles, and prepared both hearts for the awakening that follows. Even if the age gap feels surprising, overwhelming, or unusual, it is only proof that the reunion happened at the exact moment it was destined to, not a second too early, not a second too late. In this way, age becomes irrelevant. The reunion is timeless. What matters is the window, the divine moment when both souls rise into resonance and destiny calls them home to each other. When a true twin flame connection awakens, it does not merely shift emotions, it dismantles identity. The identities we cling to in the physical world are built from social expectations, age, role, labels, reputation, cultural norms, and the stories we tell ourselves about what love should look like. These identities feel safe because they help us navigate the world, but they are illusions created by the mind, not truths born from the soul. Twin flame love enters to dissolve these illusions completely. Higher love cannot coexist with the rigid structures of social identity. The soul does not care how old you are, what role you play, what others expect, or how society thinks love should unfold. When your counterpart appears, the connection cuts through these constructs like lightning. Suddenly, age feels irrelevant, labels lose meaning, roles blur, and long-held traditions collapse under the weight of a love that transcends them all. This collapse is not a breakdown, it is a breakthrough. It is the soul demanding authenticity. It is the universe urging you to step out of the costume you inherited from society and step into the truth of who you really are. In the presence of higher love, your identity begins to shift from, "What does the world expect of me?" to, "What does my soul remember about itself?" This shedding can feel unsettling because the ego resists losing its familiar boundaries. Yet this surrender is essential for unity consciousness, the state where two souls recognize themselves as one field of energy rather than two separate identities. Only by releasing the artificial layers can both counterparts meet at the level of pure essence, where neither age nor role nor expectation has any power. Twin flame love strips away everything false so only the eternal remains. What collapses is illusion. What emerges is truth. Twin flame connections are not personal events, they are planetary events. Every union, especially those marked by unusual elements such as significant age gaps, serves a purpose far beyond the relationship itself. These connections act as frequency transmitters that send ripples into the collective consciousness of humanity. The bond does not simply unite two souls, it begins dismantling outdated beliefs about time, aging, love, and the structure of relationships across the world. Age-gap twin flame unions are especially powerful because they confront one of society's deepest illusions, the belief that time defines compatibility. For centuries, humanity has tied worthiness, attractiveness, maturity, and appropriateness to numerical age. But twin flame connections disrupt this illusion instantly. They reveal a higher truth, that love is energetic, eternal, and rooted in soul resonance rather than physical timelines. When the connection activates, both twins embody this truth unconsciously, radiating it outward into the collective field. Every time a twin flame pair chooses each other despite societal norms, a vibrational code is released. It challenges global consciousness to question the rigidity of time, the meaning of aging, and the artificial limitations placed on love. Each partnership becomes a beacon, subtly rewiring the collective mind to accept relationships that are based on soul recognition rather than social conditioning. The love between the twins becomes a catalyst, softening the boundaries that humanity has created around what love should be. Your bond becomes a living transmission. Every moment you choose authenticity over fear, truth over expectation, and soul over society, you contribute to the evolution of the entire human collective. Twin flames are not here to simply find each other, they are here to transform the world by existing in a way that defies illusion and restores love to its natural, limitless form. Your connection is not only personal. It is a force of consciousness, shifting humanity one frequency at a time. On the twin flame journey, every illusion that the human mind clings to must eventually fall away. Illusions about worthiness, about control, about separation, about fear, each one dissolves as the soul awakens into deeper truth. Yet among all these illusions, the final and most persistent is the illusion of time. Time convinces the human mind that love must obey linear rules, that age defines compatibility, and that timing determines value. But the soul does not experience time the way the body does. It exists beyond it, untouched and eternal. This is why age becomes the last illusion to overcome before physical union can occur. As long as the mind clings to judgments about being too old, too young, too different, or too late, the connection cannot fully anchor into the physical world. The twin flame bond exists in a dimension where time does not separate but unifies. Until you dissolve the belief that age matters, your energy remains tethered to the limitations of the 3D world. When you release the illusion of time, something extraordinary happens. The energetic field between the twins shifts. Resistance softens. Fear weakens. Alignment strengthens. Suddenly, the connection feels natural and effortless, because the soul is no longer battling the mind's outdated judgment. You begin to see age for what it truly is, a temporary costume worn by eternal beings. Physical union requires energetic conditions that are pure, open, receptive, and free of societal programming. Dissolving the illusion of time is what creates those conditions. It allows you to meet your counterpart soul to soul, not identity to identity. It clears the final veil that kept your human self from fully stepping into the eternal truth of the bond. When time loses its power, love reveals its fullest expression. And union becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Before you go, take a moment, because if this message stirred something inside you, it's not by accident. Your soul doesn't react to things that aren't meant for it. And if you're here, still listening, still feeling this truth in your body, then your twin flame age difference is not random, it's activation. This Sunday holds energy unlike anything you've walked through before. And I want you to walk into it with clarity, not fear, with alignment, not doubt, with the knowing that your connection was designed with precision by the universe itself. If today's message resonated, if it lifted something, revealed something, or awakened something, I want you to anchor it right now in the comments. Write the words, "I am ready." Let the universe feel it. Let your counterpart feel it. Let you feel it. Your soul contract is ancient. Your timing is divine. And your age difference is not a barrier, it's a blueprint. If you're ready for more deep transmissions like this, more clarity on your journey, and more guidance as we approach this powerful Sunday window, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Until then, stay aligned. Stay open. And remember, your love exists far beyond time. I'll see you in the next one.